know say na your constituency have been a consequence wetin they call am. Na this man they represent. Make una just forget am. This man na boy na go dey do for Senate House. Make una just see the way this man they fight for Akpabio. I witness so this man they fight for una constituency abi for una. Na so they represent una. I sure so una people wey need this man for they represent. Una for they get am clear. Make una see the way this man they shout. Wey make Bola come out for inside trouser because of Akpabio. Where woman alleged say if they make sexual advances on her. See as this man they tear body, they do as if say my people, make una just listen and see the way this man they shamelessly they disgrace himself, they disgrace the consequence. Oh, one boy, this one and one boy, they go they.
First time this woman is doing this. This is a woman that have accused Yaya Bello of sexual harassment. This is the same woman that have accused the. I'm coming. Allow me to flow. Allow me to flow.
Okay.
This is the same woman that accused Irene Omokri, the former media aide to Jonathan, of sexual harassment. This is a woman I saw in a video yesterday accusing a minister of sexual harassment. Are you the only woman in Nigeria, Senator Natasha? What is wrong with you?
Oh, your mic.
If women can behave this way, then that is danger.
Well, that's a generalization. That's a generalization.
And I have my points.
Senator Wimboy, that's a generalization.
Any latent provocation, you accuse it, you want to sexually harass me. Who are you?
All right.
A mother of six.
She's a
mother of six from different men. Without going to her character, this is a mother of six from different men.
All right,
do I don't think that her character is not questionable?
All right, Mr.
Sexual allegations don't have anything to do with the marital status
or
the number of children she has.
Actually, it's business.
Let me ask you the next question.
I'm going to her character. Fateful day of 8 December 2023. I was among the senators that attended the birthday ceremony of the Senate President. Right from the Victor Atta Airport, I drove in the same vehicle with the senator, with her husband. In fact, I was in the front seat while the senator and her husband was at the back seat. We attended series of programs of the Senate President within Uyo Town. At the end of the day, we moved to Ekotekpene, the hometown of the Senate President. I remember very well, as we were coming down from the vehicle, she was complaining of her shoe paining her. That made her and her husband to stay back while I rushed inside the building to join other senators to inspect the building of the Senate President. I must tell you for free, and that is the truth, Senator Natasha never joined us in inspecting the buildings of the Senate President. She was seated at the parlor with her husband. The Senate President took us to the chapel, and called those who are Catholic senators to join him in a Holy Mass. We celebrated the Holy Mass, and at the end of the day, ended up in her garden, and he hosted us. There was never a time the Senate President touched Senator Natasha. There was never a time the Senate President told Natasha, oh, you like my house, I will come back here to have a good time. That never happened. And Senator Natasha knows that very well. So it is disheartening and unbelievable for a senator of the Federal Republic to act of mere provocation simply because you were given a new seat and probably a committee was changed to get up to lay a false allegation against a man that is old enough to be your father. Up till now, I'm still in shock because it's unbelievable.
All right, Mr. Wimboy,
and let me cap it up. From the house of the Senate President, I still drove in the same vehicle with Senator Natasha and the husband. I was still in the front seat to 4 Points Hotel, where we all lodged. The following morning, I was with the husband. We had a walk together within the hotel. He never told me of anything that the wife was harassed. Of course, it never happened. For crying out loud, it never happened. The Senate President never had a handshake with Natasha in his house, let alone toasting her. And think of it. How do you think a sane man will toast a married woman in the presence of over 20 senators, in the presence of her husband? Come on. This is unbelievable to be condemned.
All right, Mr. Wimboy, you've made it clear that you're an eyewitness.
I was there.
You've stated what you witnessed.
With over 20 senators. Senator Stangu was there. I can name them.
It's clear that the point is you said you're an eyewitness, and that's completely fine. And like Aaron mentioned, even though it was a different context with Bukola Saraki, the fact that you witnessed this and you're saying that it didn't happen, then you should probably be at the forefront pushing for transparency to clear the name and the allegations as opposed to...
Of course, this allegation is not before the Senate. As far as I'm concerned, it's a hearsay. Senator Natasha never, since 2023, where the alleged harassment happened, she never reported this to the Senate.
But why are you against the call that's being made by Bukola Saraki, even if now you've confirmed that you witnessed it and there's nothing to hide?
Let me tell you something. We have rules in Senate. It's only when you present an issue at the plenary that Senate can set up a committee, not on a hearsay. Bukola Saraki, that's a personal opinion. He was a Senate President. He knows the rules of the Senate. He knows who can't act on hearsay. It is a hearsay. Senator Natasha never presented any issue before us.
Okay, based on your eyewitness experience and your the place that you hold as the chief whip, how would you advise that we see this matter through?
Let her read the rules.
Go ahead. Let's know how this should be handled.
I can't say she knows what to do. Let her read the rules.
No,
I'm not her lawyer.
But if we were to draw a parallel between what happened with Senator Bukola Saraki, then when he was Senate President, I do not think the issue about what do you call it? the import duties concerning the vehicles, the SUV vehicles, that was a bone of contention, was presented before.
It was presented before, and it was assigned to a committee. It was presented by Senator. It came by word of motion.
Okay, if you have said that.
No, let me. You have to know our rules. Okay. It came by word of motion. But if you want the Senate to act on any issue, probably your privilege has been infringed, or you have a report to make, you come by word of motion. All the senators will hear it. It will be put to vote. If you find merit in your complaint, that is only when it will be referred to the Ethics and Privileges Committee.
But Senator Nweboye, now where I'm going to with this is, already the Senate, some are brandishing the Senate as very misogynistic.
It's not so.
So if that's not the case, when allegations of sexual misconduct is being raised, shouldn't it be taken with seriousness rather than shoving it aside? Because she has said her side of the story. You were not there with them from the night into the morning.
I was there all through, and I left with her.
She could have returned back.
She couldn't return back. Listen to her facts. She didn't return back. The
president
was there with his wife.
So she believes. I'm not saying whether it's true or not. She believes that she has been wronged, and she was put in a very uncomfortable situation. Whether it's true or not, why don't we leave that for the ethics committee to decide? Shooting it down.
That is only if and only if the matter is presented before us. Get it right.
So that's why I said
the first allegation. Remember how she started. She came on air that the Senate president is suppressing the voice of female senators. I'm coming. That was her first allegation. And we said no. I came here and said no. We are not suppressing the voice of the female senators. All the 4 female senators in the 10 senates are all committee chairmen, not minding that they are first-timers. And by the practice, as a first-timer, you ought to have understudied the proceedings of how a committee meetings used to be before you can chair it. Because a committee chairman is like a Senate president. You preside over the committee. You oversight ministers and MDAs. So you need to have an experience. But because of the love the Senate president and the 10 Senate has for women, these 4 women are all committee chairmen. I can name them. Herself, Senator Kingibe, Senator Diat, and the former deputy governor of Rivers. They are all committee chairmen. How do you think you believe her that the Senate president is suppressing the female voices?
Is it too wild to be imagined? Or what are you saying that it can never happen?
It didn't happen.
I say it can never happen.
But it can happen, but it didn't happen.
Okay, that's still based on what you said you witnessed, and that's completely fine. But now, do you think?
Okay, now there's a platform. She was talking, and I posted this eyewitness account. Senator Natasha did not controvert any of my statement hearing.
All right. Have to.
She has to.
Not necessarily.
Let her come up and say that I was not there, or I didn't drive in the same car with her. Okay. Let her come out and say it.
Do you believe?
She can say it.
Do you believe that the Senate Ethics Committee lacks the impartiality needed to fairly investigate allegations against its own president? And if so, what does that say about the committee's overall credibility?
Every committee is independent. If there's someone the Senate president will appear. Senate is a very serious institution. A resolution of a committee, no man can thwart it. The Senate president cannot change it. That is the rule.
True.
The resolution of a committee, no human being can change it. It's only a court of law. No human being can change it. And if the committee deemed it fit to invite the Senate president, he must appear.
All right, Senator Nweboye. Now, from the look of things, it seems the Senate is just sweeping this aside, or majority of the senators.
We're not sweeping it aside. Remember, get my point clear. The issue is not before the Senate. And if she brings it before the Senate, it will be referred to the appropriate committee. And the Senate president will not preside.
But not the language of the senators here.
No,
or the majority are already shooting her down before she even arrives.
Let her do the right thing. Let her do the right thing. The point we are trying to draw home here is that this is a complete falsehood. This is an attempt to discredit the Senate president. And this is not the first time. Just give me some time. This is not the first time this woman is doing this. This is a woman that have accused Ayabelo of sexual harassment. This is the same woman that have accused the... I'm coming. Allow me to flow. Allow me to flow.
Okay.
This is the same woman that accused Reno Amankri, the former media aide to Jonathan, of sexual harassment. This is a woman I saw in a video yesterday accusing the minister of sexual harassment. Are you the only woman in Nigeria, Senator Natasha? What is wrong with you?
Ooh, your mic.
But Senator Nweboye,
okay, 1 second.
This is madness.
Senator Nweboye, just because
Nigerian women should rise against it. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Senator Natasha is spoiling game for Nigerian women trying to enter politics because nobody will vote for a woman. No, I'm telling you, if women can behave this way, then that is danger.
Well, that's a generalization. That's a generalization.
And I have my points.
Senator Nweboye, that's a
generalization. Then this latent provocation, you accuse it, you want to sexually harass me. Who are you?
All right.
A mother of 6.
She's a
mother of 6 from different men. Without going to her character, this is a mother of 6 from different men.
All right,
do I think that her character is not questionable?
All right, Mr.
Sexual allegations don't have anything to do with the marital status
or
the number of children she
has.
has.
Let
me ask you the next question.
I'm going to her character. We have to change.
But this is misogyny here.
I'm telling you the truth.
Can we ask you the next question?
Go ahead, I'm here for you.
Whew, okay.
We should condemn info. That is the point.
All right.
I'm a Christian.
Are you ready for the next question?
Go ahead, my dear sister.
Okay. Now, how do you respond to critics who might view your defense of Akpabio as partisan loyalty rather than principled reasoning about proper investigative procedures.
Let me tell you something. I'm a principal officer of the 10th Senate. So I owe the Senate the duty to set the records right, not being loyal to one man. The Senate president is my president, yes, but outside that, I have that responsibility to tell Nigerians all I know as to what is transpiring in the Senate. And that is what I'm doing, so that the public will not be misled. Because in most cases, if you don't inform people as to the right facts and figures surrounding an issue, they'll be informed. So what I'm doing? I'm not a boy to the Senate president. I'm elected like him. But if you want to rubbish him because you feel you can do that, people like I'm a human rights activist. I can rise up and say no, because you can't do it to me, and they can't do it to you. If anybody tries to do it to you, I will also speak the same. What is condemnable should be condemned by all. This woman should know her limits. She should stop dealing with prominent Nigerians. If they do it in her mother's country, we don't do it here.
Senator Nweboye, you are using probably analogical deduction and probably trying to bring in reason to understand her actions. Yes. And that shouldn't be the case. It should rest on facts.
I'm speaking about facts. I told you here.
Senator Nweboye, because it is wrong for you to say that because she has children with multiple men, yes, that she doesn't have the locus and she doesn't have the moral standing.
I didn't say so.
To accuse, to feel harassed.
I didn't say so.
No, that's what you said.
I didn't say so.
You did say that.
She is a habitual accuser. She is a habitual accuser of men.
Also, that is still not enough reason, yes, for you to say, to dismiss a claim because, yes, she has accused 1, 2, yes, 3 people, yes, but that's not enough reason to dismiss the claim. And that is why people are accusing, yes, the Nigerian Senate, the 10th.
You go by precedence. In reasoning, you go by precedence.
It doesn't work.
You go by precedence.
Law.
Yes.
In law, when cases of sexual harassment come up,
let me tell you
they do not use judicial precedents or study decisis to decide whether or not she has the locus to sue.
We use it
because this is misogyny speaking here.
Because you are putting your character in question. If you are known for accusing people, today I will say my sister is a thief. Tomorrow I will say you are a thief.
To prove sexual harassment, yes, character of the person.
It comes from it's an issue.
It's not the first thing.
It is an issue. It is an issue.
At some point,
that
yes,
is the law.
But not the first thing.
Okay. That is the law.
It's not the
character comes in issue.
It is the evidence of what we have on ground.
She has no evidence.
All right, Mr. Nweboye.
Not the character.
She has no evidence.
All right, Mr. Nweboye.
You're not sure of that?
She has no. I'm sure of that.
Okay.
And I'm ready to come to court and testify. I'm an eyewitness.
You're an eyewitness.
She stated her case, where it happened, when it happened, and I was there.
But like you said, you're also not her lawyer, so you don't know all the facts that she has and what she
She
can
has
submit as
presented her
evidence.
facts.
All right.
She can't change the facts.
Okay, so
even though she changes like a chameleon. The other day she was talking of suppressing female voices. The other day she was talking of another seat to her. Today is sexual harassment. Who knows what she will like tomorrow?
Let's wait and see.
We are waiting.
Okay.
But Nigeria is too big for her.
All right.
The 10th Senate is too big for her.
Okay.
She can't toil us.
So let's expand.
She cannot.
How will she come freely to present her case?
What approach? Was she not here? Did I interrupt her?
All right, Mr. Nweboye.
Let's speak on my own point of view. You can't stop me.
Mr. Nweboye, can we expand this beyond Senator Natasha?
Go ahead, my dear sister.
With the way you've addressed this today,
yes,
what message do you think your stance is sending to women in Nigeria who may face may face similar workplace harassment issues
and are
considering coming forward?
I take exception to that. No female politician in Nigeria have established.
No, you didn't listen to my question.
I listened to your question very well. I listened to your question.
No, I said, what message do you think your stance sent to women in Nigeria who may face similar workplace harassment issues and are considering coming forward?
Who has faced workplace harassment issue? I'm asking you, who has faced one?
I'm talking about women.
Yeah, tell me one woman that has faced such harassment.
Well, since you post, you might want to put that on social media.
No, tell me one before I answer you. If not, I won't answer you. Tell me one.
You don't have to answer that.
Tell me one, because your question is business.
If I were to follow our question up.
Yes.
Before the Me Too movement, there was a stifling of voices for women in the entertainment space in the US. But as soon as one issue came up, we began to see multiple issues come up. People coming out to speak against the likes of Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein. These were power players who would have probably come out and be as bold and be brazen like you, saying that they have never harassed women. But when these women came up, they are answering for their crimes as we speak. So you cannot throw a blanket statement and say that no woman in the Nigerian Senate has ever been harassed. Can you boldly say that?
Give me one.
We don't know.
Then leave it. But
at the same time, you cannot say it has never happened before. Just because it hasn't been brought to the fore doesn't mean it has never happened before.
Give me one.
Don't worry. Maybe who knows? This conversation might be the beginning point of something to happen.
Give me one.
At least we have Senator Natasha on record.
She has not proved it until she proves them.
At least we have one on record.
It's an allegation. Unfounded one at that.
Yes, we know it's an allegation.
Baseless one at that. Out of malice, afterthought. Can't you see it? Can't you see it?
Okay.
All right. Now, if the situations were reversed and opposition senators were shielding one of their own from investigation, what would your position be?
I said it here that if a case is mailed out against the Senate president, that he must appear before the committee. He's not above the committee. But as of today, none has been made against the Senate president.
But the way you sounding, do you think she'll be feeling safe to come?
Why not? The Senate is for everybody.
Yes.
She has been there.
Yes.
She'll be there tomorrow. I'm sure she's in the office now. What are you talking about? Who is against her? Well,
A lot of people have been very vociferous in the way they've
because they are
attacked her.
condemning her because of her actions. But that does not mean that she can't access the Senate. No. She has her freedom. She's a Nigerian.
Yes, she is a
elected
Nigerian.
senator. But what we are saying is that her attitude is unbecoming of a senator of the Federal Republic. That is the point. Take it home.
Okay.
All right, well, we're going to go home now. Thank you so much, Deputy Chief Whip Moye Kachimweboye, for your take on this very